The old world was rigged, designed to rip us apart. That was the world of the dead.
I know what it means to go back to Manhattan. It's cost me a lot. Almost everything.
You wanted Negan dead once. Now you want to save his life.
It's different now.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
What is up? What's going on, people? Welcome back. We are here again with episode 6 of Dead City. We have 2 more episodes left, and I am very excited to see what we're going to see in those last 2 episodes. Brian, you're muted. Unmute yourself and tell the people where they can find you, sir.
I was just saying, I didn't want anyone to hear me say I was cursing out the fact there's only 2 episodes left. So I was so upset. But
yeah, we'll stick with that.
That's what it is. Exactly. So I'm Brian the Grizzly, 1/3 of Spoiler Kings. We go live Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays talking about all this fun TV show, comic book, and movie things. You know, we go to reviews, we watch all the movies, and let you know what you should not, and not to waste your time on.
Absolutely, 100%. And if you're anything like me, you won't listen to a word these guys say because they have horrible taste in TV shows and movies. You know, so
coming from this man, that means we're great.
don't fall for the okie doke on that one. We're not doing that tonight. All right.
All I'm gonna do is bring up. Never mind. I'm not gonna go. I'm not going there.
You're gonna bring up what? The Batman?
Exactly. Not the Batman. I'm going with Dark Knight. That's the problem. I can even understand. I could feel the Batman. I understand the Batman personally. The Dark Knight is why I have a problem. Batman Begins. I actually agree with you with Batman Begins, and we all know Dark Knight Rises is what it is. What it is, right?
Exactly.
It is what it is.
So you just want to cap for this one movie because of Heath Ledger, right?
No, it's so good in so many different ways. I actually wrote a whole synopsis on why it's good and how James Nolan did a great job with trying to summarize what happens in The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is a great comic book series. It was good on television, and he did a great job with it. The only complaint about The Dark Knight is Batman, but everyone else in it is great.
Well, there's only one other person in there that's the Joker, because Two-Face is garbage too.
I don't think he's garbage. I think that it really did give Two-Face a good how he began. The problem is that you killed off. He shouldn't have died.
And you didn't even need him. You could have had just him and Joker. That's like adding Venom to the Spider-Man movie. You know what I mean?
You could, but you didn't. You gave more depth to understanding the Bruce Wayne part of it. That's what he did, and that's why you needed Two-Face, because of the Bruce Wayne part. That's it's different than Batman, and you just don't like because it's very grounded. But that's okay to be grounded because you had craziness still going on with it. So
first off, they're like, you're gonna put this blame on me. I'm the one who killed Two-Face. We gotta do that because we have to make sure that I'm like, why don't you just blame it on the fucking Joker?
But we know everyone knew that the Joker really didn't do it because where he was, you knew where he was.
Not everybody knew where he was. There was only 3 people that were there, right?
You knew where the Joker was?
Yeah, nobody knew where the Joker was.
Yeah, they all saw him, and he strung him up. And remember, he was captured.
Yeah, but it was most of his people. So They could have said he died hours earlier than he died. They're cops. We
So
know
you
how the cops
saying
do it. We know how
you
cops do it. They
you
plant
believe in
evidence
Trump,
on
huh?
black
That's what
people
this
and
is.
shit.
This is what this is all this Trump. This is Trump America right here. That's what you're trying to give us in
Hold
this
on.
dark night.
Hold on. I am 100% Canadian over here. So I ain't down for no Trump shit. But at the same time, I mean, they do it all the time, right? How many black people are on death row because they were framed by a police officer? You know what I'm saying?
But you don't like grounded stuff. That and you're telling them I'm grounded in reality. So for
it was already grounded in reality,
ground,
so you might as
well. You don't
well.
like grounded stuff, so now you can tell them to ground it more.
Yes, you already did it, so you might as well go full out on it, right? No,
I think there was too much craziness going on, and then the whole hospital blowing up, and then all the things that happened after it. I just, dude, that is so well done. The only thing that he could have done, Christian Bale with the voices, the thing that pisses me off always. Not even what he did. It's just I'm going to talk like this. The entire damn movie that pissed me off in all three of the movies. He's a great actor. I didn't like that part.
Man, this guy is grounded in reality. A dude has a gun at the beginning of the movie. He grabs the nozzle and bends it.
You could do that. Did you know? No, you know what he has, right? You remember from Batman Begins what he had.
Those stupid claw things on his thing, blah, 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 whatever. Bullshit. It's trash. All right? That's what I'm saying. It's trash. There's all these fucking excuses, all the bullshit. Yes, 100%. 100%. All these bullshit excuses, because we never actually seen him use it on there. He just grabs the nozzle and he bends it. That's it.
You wanted to see him do it more? Okay.
Wanted to see it's grounded in reality, right? At least make it be realistic.
So we should stop him and show Nzo, even though everyone is well known as one of the best things ever done. And Anzo's like, yeah, no, make him more super realistic for superhero-ish for me. Like,
if you're gonna do that, you might as well. You know what I mean? If you're gonna go fantastical, go fantastical. If you're gonna go real life, you might as well fucking add that shit in actual real life and go all out in that bull crap. Anyway,
you don't think that you're picking at something that's overall a great cinema experience?
Never. I never do that.
And we all know. Come on, guys. We all know.
I disagree with all of that.
He should be fans on his own channel.
Well, that ain't happening. As long as I got the controls on this motherfucker, that ain't happening. You know what I mean? But I can find his on your ass for making that comment. I could do that.
I wouldn't doubt you. I wouldn't doubt you.
Exactly. But guys, we are here not to talk about Dark Knight, but we are here to talk about episode 6, season 2, Dead City. The bridge partners are hard to come by these days is the title of it. And before we get started, Brian, what do you think of this episode?
First, I'd like to change the title of this. Since I'm black and I'm American, it should be Spades partners are hard to find. Come by these days. That's the black way of doing it. It's the same meaning. Someone who's going to have your side and he's going to be willing to work with you through all of the stuff that's going ups and downs. No matter where we're going, we're going to work together to figure it out together, and trying to find a true partnership. That's what's coming at. And I was mad at Pearly for saying, "Oh yeah, my parents taught me how to play bridge." No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They taught you how to play spades.
Are you saying black people don't play bridge?
I'm saying black people play spades first, and then they learn how to play bridge and euchre
because
from spades.
Because when my family got together, they played bridge. They didn't play no spades. I'm just saying.
And but again, once again,
I am Canadian.
You're Canadian, and that's the difference.
I am Canadian, so we don't play bridge. We don't play spades. We play bridge over here.
I've never, so you do learn to play other things, but you play spades first. That's the basis.
I got you. So yeah, for me personally, I thought this was a really good episode. There was a lot of real, good conversations and emotions in it, which we're going to get to. But the episode does start off with Pearly, Herschel, and the rest of the crew walking. They're going to the Borat. He has them, and he's telling them pretty much, I got a plan for you guys. You're going to come inside here, and We're gonna have a nice little conversation. And he passes this woman who's just standing there, and she's looking around. And I'm just gonna play it real quick.
I had a couple questions.
Go ahead. What up, Tony?
No one heard the bear coming?
Hey, I don't know, man. It's zombie bear. Maybe it's smarter than normal, I guess. If you're tired of your CEO through all of these freak offs, come sign to Dead City Records. Facts.
And I said, CEO, all up in the videos, all these freak offs.
What I like better is if you're tired of being spoiled by all your movies, right? Come to Big Ford Entertainment. All right. Forget Spoiler Kings. We ain't doing Spoiler Kings.
And then no one's gonna show up. Everyone's like, hey, we were with you.
What were your thoughts when you saw this scene?
It was, first of all, how did the bear even drag her off without hearing anything? We saw the bear attack all the rest of those people, and he was loud. So you tell me this zombie bear creeps around the corner, like really does? Like what is going on? And she didn't scream either. Did she? How? I just questioned that part.
We already know that these people can't hear shit because in the last episode, Maggie bust that whistle, and the only person that fucking heard it was Negan, right? So now no one heard the bear. Right? Okay, whatever. Dramatics for a TV show. But yes, you are correct, 100%. But for me, when I seen this, I was like, yo, we're getting the zombie bear. At first, I thought it was just a regular bear. When they showed the trailer, I'm like, I don't know if they're doing the zombie bear. Maybe just like a rabid bear with rabies or something, But yeah, at this point, I was like, oh shit, okay, we're getting a zombie bear.
This made me question all animals.
Go ahead.
We're in New York, right? So they have this huge zoo in the middle of New York, right? So there's bears, there's lions, there's tigers, and then all those things, monkeys. Do all of them turn into zombies? And will they become problems then?
That's a good question, because in The Walking Dead, Ezekiel had a tiger, right? And that tiger sacrificed himself, and I guess because they ate it, it didn't turn or whatever, they ate it, but I don't remember ever really seeing animals turn until now. You know what I mean? They've had dogs and stuff like that.
We've seen lots of dogs all over the place.
Right. Horses, like you've never really seen them turn. So why did the bear turn? What was it that made this bear turn? I think if they would have explained that a little bit more, especially in the Insider, I'd have been like, okay. But they didn't really give us an explanation for the bear, especially when we haven't seen an animal, turn into one of these creatures before. So it's kind of interesting to me. But to be honest with you, I was fucking down for it. I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. Let's do it then. Let's do it. I'm cool with it.
I mean, it's one of the more interesting things, and I would love for them to explore it even more. I'll be interested to see if they do explore it more, and we find out that there are other animals out there that there's an animal horde. Like you're in the middle of this fight, and all of a sudden this animal horde comes in and takes you out.
That would be sick. That would be sick. And I'll say this too, because, we've done the Last of Us stuff and, we all liked it. But when you watch this show, you realize how much the zombies and creatures are missing from that show. You know what I mean? Like really and truly, even in this one, you can tell it's more centered around the humans. But when they walk outside, they're getting attacked by zombies. They got to sneak around. You know what I mean? And
zombies are always there.
Yeah, exactly. And you would think that would be the same case with The Last of Us, but that's what The Last of Us was missing for me anyways.
I think it should be more in The Last of Us because if there's mushrooms, right, they should be able to grow anywhere.
Right. I agree.
They should be popping up all over the damn place. Yeah. So if it's airborne and stuff, you tell me that there's actual places where there's not going to be a zombie or something.
Agreed 100%. So that's the one thing that I like about this show. And The Walking Dead, they do a good job at least letting you always remember that the zombies are a threat. But we get Negan. Negan is talking to the Croat. The Croat is explaining to him about what happened with the Dharma, and there was a theory online, and I didn't watch the video. I was like, oh, the Dharma might be alive. And I brought it up to these guys, and they were like, nah, Dharma's dead. And we have confirmation, hands down, that the Dharma is dead in this episode.
Where you going?
And Negan is asking about himself, like, what about me? And he's like, well, to be honest with you, you did your job. You're free to go. What were your thoughts on this scene, Brian?
It really threw me for a loop because I really thought the Croat was going to hold him there or try to manipulate him to staying. And that was not at all what he was going to do. He was going to let him go. Hey, your kids, they come here tomorrow morning. Your kid and your girl, you're free to go up to wife and go do whatever you want to do. And then you see in the scene even further, he goes even further. Like, we could go to Croatia. You can come with me. We'll go together. I will let this place go and let it be, and we'll be friends, and we'll just go off into the sunset together. I don't want to be alone.
Have a fresh start, you know what I mean? And I'm with you too on that one, because we discussed it last weekend, and we were like, oh, the Croat's probably going to be a lot worse than the Dharma now, you know what I mean? No one to hold him back, but he was actually broken by what happened, which kind of convinces me that he had feelings for the Dharma, like relationship type feelings for her, you know what I mean? And I guess when Negan came in, it kind of ruined that whole plan, and he's seen that she was more praising what Negan was doing and putting him down. You know what I mean? Because it seemed to me like it was kind of a jealousy type of thing, not just for Negan, but, I've been here for so long, I love you, and kind of thing like that. You know what I mean? And you're just bouncing, you're just on Negan's dick. I don't like that, So.
Even more, I think it's like we had an understanding in some smaller guys who haven't been treated well in past life, like stronger women, that are mean and intense, and that's what the Dharma was. She was very mean. She's very intense. She's degrading. People, they're attracted to that, and that could have been their relationship all along.
Absolutely. And then Korad basically tells Negan that they got the signal, and his family is going to be there, telling him, you guys can stay or you can go. It's your choice. You think, and I think the Dharma was pretty much, not Dharma, the Croat was pretty much broken at this point. You know what I mean? Where it was like, yeah, if you want to go, you could just go. Take your family and go. You know what I mean? And I also feel like, even though he was, went to the Bruegel, he was like, no, we're not doing this. He gave all this kind of like attitude and was very aggressive. I think that if Negan had actually left, they would have probably lost that war to the Bruegel real quick. You know what I mean?
100%.
I don't think he was in his right mind to even like lead people at this point.
Honestly, I think if Negan would have left, I think Croat would have left too. I think he would have got on the ship. He would have had enough.
Yeah.
Enough. He just said, you know what? I'm going to let you guys have it. He'll let the Bruegel have it. And he would have left on the ship with maybe 2 other people and just went off to Croatia. And, that's what he tried to do before. He's tried to do it, twice. So, this has been his chance to go do it. I see him, Negan, going off with his family. I'm going to go do what I was going to do before I got here.
Absolutely. And then we get to the next scene where it's Maggie and she's talking to Pearlie, and she's basically telling them that like it's over, we're gonna go home. You know what I mean? The first chance we get. And I think it kind of mirrors what Negan's going through. Negan has a chance to go home, and Maggie has the chance to go home. And I think we're gonna find out that they're not going to go home. This is, you know what I mean? Because that kind of stuff is in their blood, right? Maggie has a chance to take her and everybody and just bounce. And Negan has a chance to take his kid and just bounce. Go live off Sunset and do what you want to do. But that's
they're 2 sides of the same coin.
Yes, exactly.
You don't want to say they're the same because of their history, but they really are. They have the same motivation. They do the same type of stuff. And yeah, they're 2 sides of the same coin. And we're going to continue to see them mirroring each other throughout the entirety of this dead city. I think so. Because they are the real main people.
I agree with you 100%. And now, and this situation, Pearly basically is saying that, maybe we should listen to the Bruegel, what offer he has. So he comes in and he takes them through where the zombies are and the pit, and he has a gun. He found a gun, and it's like, oh, I haven't had one of these in a long time. And I'm like, man, well, I don't know where you've been, but
They've been
Maggie's
shooting all
crew,
day.
yeah, you know what I mean? They got guns. The Babylon got guns, you know what I'm saying? So you guys are dead if New Babylon comes in there. If that's what you're saying, is you haven't seen a gun in a long time, and
Then
New
you
Babylon
will be
actually
done
comes and attacks, you guys are
immediately.
done. You got
Yep.
no weapons. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's why they want the methane so bad. They can light up the city, maybe protection and stuff like that. Maybe find a way to get guns. Who knows? But at the same time, right now, they don't have nothing. They don't have nothing. So they're having a conversation over here, and he's basically telling them, I can give you what you want. You want
He's a
the
con artist.
methane? Yeah, 100%.
He reminds me
Go ahead.
of a certain leader. Going to tell you exactly what you want to hear, no
Mhm.
matter what, and those type of people that are just manipulating you. They're trying to get you to come to their side. They're going to say whatever they want you to say, and you're going to say something that you think that's going to make him upset. He's going to say, "Oh no, I'm all for this. I'm cool. I'm good with whatever you're saying." But this is the problem, and say that everyone else is the problem, not you, not him.
Yeah,
And those are the
100%.
people that you have to be worried about, and that's what Maggie kept on telling Pearly. But some people are just easily manipulated, and Pearly's
Mhm.
one of those guys.
100%. Because what Pearly's thinking about is like, oh, I'll be a hero if we can get this stuff, get the methane, bring it back to New Babylon. This is what we've been trying to get. And I'm willing to basically make a deal with this guy if you're willing to get the methane for us. But Maggie's questioning, like, well, why? What's in it for you? And he's basically saying, well, sooner or later, we're going to have to deal with New Babylon, which is
Mhm.
correct. But that's not the reason why he wants it. You know what I mean? Like you said, he's a con man, and he knows that he gets the methane, he gets control of the lights, he can pretty much run everything. So that's his plan.
Also, I see like him as a drug dealer. The
Yes.
drug dealer does. I'm gonna give you enough. I'm first
Mhm.
2 barrels are free, but you got to come back to me to get some more.
Oh, 100%.
So I'll watch this
100%.
part for you, and then when New Babylon, they're not my friends, but they're also paying me. They also give
Mhm.
me the things I want. So I have control of the city. I have someone who's buying the stuff from me, and I can hold off New Babylon as long as I need to because I have this.
Absolutely, 100%. So he's really thinking about himself, and Maggie knows what he's doing. Unfortunately, Pearlie's not really into it. So they said he'll think it over, and then we hear, what he says on the screen. Jesus Christ! They bring in this chick, and when they show her face.
That's Pearly always look like he's gonna throw up.
Yeah, I know, right? And they show her face, and her face is mash up. And again, I was like, oh, okay, we're really getting a zombie bear. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is going to be freaking interesting. I want to see how they do this.
Does that not look like Cocaine Bear?
Facts.
Like,
Facts.
you getting messed up. This kid, oh man, that's crazy when I'm looking at the bear what it did, and the fact that no one reacted that way. Everyone was just
Facts.
very matter of fact. Tells you what type of world they live in now.
Yeah, 100%. So we have the Bruegel now. I'm sorry, the Croat now, and the Croat, he's pretty much like throwing up, and he's crying, and he can't believe that the Dharma's dead. Negan comes, and Negan actually trying to confront him, comfort him, and let him know,
Mhm.
like, you're done. You could do whatever you want to. If you want to leave, you can leave. Nothing is keeping you here anymore. Talking about a fresh start. And Cora kind of thinks about it for a minute, and then we move on to these two again. Pearly,
Man.
Pearly, Jeannie, and Herschel. And this is when Jenny, sorry. And this is when pretty much Pearly is talking about, oh, yes, this is an opportunity for us where we can get what we want to. And I already know what JG thinks about Pearly, but what are your thoughts on Pearly, Brian?
Well, I think he's punk. He's a punk, but he's also trying to bring back a world that he doesn't really love. I don't even understand. He's romanticizing this world that he's looking for, and that's not what he really wants. And it's funny because he's lying to himself. And I think that's your biggest issue when you think you want something, but you really don't. And he's continuously lying to himself, though. This is what I really want. This is what I really want, but it's not. And he's being stupid. But I think it's a man. Once again, he has a family. He has a wife. He has daughters. Trying to be this hero, but overall, it's still selfish because you don't realize the family. All they really want is you. And same thing we're going to revisit with Negan later. You want to be this special thing, and you think that you can't have flaws. And not realizing that they don't care about the flaws. Things you see as flaws. They just care about you being there. And I think Pearly hasn't grown up to that point. He's still trying to show, look at me, I'm this great man, instead of just saying, I should be there with them.
100%. And I agree with you because at this point, he's like considering like, oh, we can finish this, we can do this, and he's telling him basically that you can leave, right? If you're going to take your son, you can leave. But she's like, no, I'm not leaving yet. I'm not leaving yet. And then he says,
Now you want to put yourself in even more danger?
We can handle it.
Unless this isn't about you or him or any of us here.
No, it's
You
not.
wanted Negan dead once. Now you want to save his life. I don't get it.
And now you want to save his life. And when I heard that, I was like, yeah, I think for Maggie at this point, she's also trying to deal with the hate that she has for Negan, but it's not just about Negan. She knows Negan has a family. She knows the reason why Negan is in that situation is because of her. She knows the reason why Negan is still sticking around is because they're threatening his family, right? So I think at this point, Maggie's like, well, he saved Herschel a couple of times, right? He saved Rick's daughter, Julie, a couple of times. He saved Carl a couple of times. So at this point, it's like, you know what? I don't like Negan, and I probably never will, but it's my fault he's in this situation, so we got to save him. What do you think?
I thought this scene described the title of this episode the best. Says once again, bridge partners are hard to come by these days. And in bridge, like if you're playing a game, you literally have to have someone who's got your back.
100%.
100%. And even when you're not there, even when you're not the one, looking at it, that's when they're by themselves, they're still concerned with you. And I think that's what it means to be a real partner. And I think we're starting to see the only real partners that are there are going to be Maggie and Negan. At the end of the day, through all the alliances that are being set and folded up and all that stuff, it's going to end up being just Maggie and Negan over and over.
I agree with you 100%. You know what I mean? And Maggie doesn't really answer the question, but of course Herschel gets mad and Herschel walks away. But then we get cut back to Negan and the Croat. And I think this conversation that they had was really good, right? Because you could see that Croat was hurting and Negan is explaining to him like, listen, you don't have to worry. You can go. You could do whatever you want to. And he's telling Negan to come to Croatia with him. And I would love for you to see this. And you can bring your family along with us. And, he basically at this point showed me that he don't want to be alone, right? I don't think it's about crashing his boat and not being able to get there. I think he don't want to be alone. You know what I mean?
Like the whole thing why he holds on to the Dama.
The Dama,
I have a relationship, someone I could kind of trust in. Once again, try to find a partner, a true partner, and that's why he even got mad at her, right? Because you're not being a partner. You're trying to you're trying to dictate over me, and that's what the whole argument was, right?
100%.
So he's reaching out for another partner, and with Negan, which is false because just not Negan won't do that with him because he doesn't trust him. This is very similar to what's going on with Maggie and Pearlie. So though they have a lot of stuff, they're reaching out, but it's not going to be anything. So yeah, that's what I see with this scene.
I agree with you, and it seems to me like, again, it's another kind of mirroring the situations that they're both going through. You know what I mean? Kind of the same sort of situations, but in a little different context, but definitely. But he ends up looking down and he notices
Clean slate.
Negan's shoe.
Shut
Now,
you.
first off, like, you still got remnants of blood on there. It's not like you don't got no water or anything that you could have washed the blood off, which is what he should have did. But it's the pattern too, because he did see the pattern printed out in the rat too, right? So yeah, it is the pattern. So Croat is now like, and again, I think we've said this in a couple episodes before that Croat's not dumb. You know what I mean? He could definitely put 2 and 2 together. Dharma already said that he's a little bit aggressive and he's impulsive, but he's never been said to be stupid. So he notices that, and Negan kind of hides his foot, and then they're walking away to the next scene, and he's pretty much saying, "You're the one that brought up the rat. You're the one that said the Dharma is this. You're the one that put all of this stuff in my head. You're not my friend. You're a traitor." And then they both look and see Lucille, and then they run for Lucille. Now, Croat gets it, but Negan ends up taking it from him, right? And then we get kind of classic Negan, which is this. Hold on.
I saved you from her. You should be thanking me. You should be groveling. Everything that you are, all that you have built, your moat, your sanctuary, your whole goddamn persona is because of me.
And call him out in front of everybody.
Facts. And to be honest with you, I'd have to go back and find the episode, but there are a few episodes where Negan was telling, like, you ain't nothing without me. You know what I mean? So to me, this was like old Negan coming out, and I think that's what scared him. And when we get to the scene that we're going to get to, I think this is kind of what scared him off of his family. What do you think, Brian?
I think that he realizes that no matter what he does, he's going to be mean and control an evil entity because he just can't control himself. He's starting to realize that it's not just an act, and that's what's worrying him.
And he's pretty much fighting that demon every day, right? He's trying to do right, but we know the type of person that Negan was, And if you guys go back and watch Negan's backstory, which I think was one of the best episodes. One of the best episodes of Walking Dead, 100%. Negan's backstory was really great, right? You could see how he became to where he was and why he was that person. And you can also feel now as to why there may be times where that person comes out again. You know what I mean? So I really love that. But what surprised me in this part is he told the Croat to leave and never come back. I was like, that is interesting. So what's going to be happening now? Is Negan going to be leading this crew of people, right? Because as Croat walks away, they all turn around and look at Negan. What are your thoughts?
Well, the strongest personality is always going to be the leader, right? And Negan, no matter what he does, is always going to be the strongest person, especially dealing with the Croat. So this is part of the reason why the Croat needed the Dama. He needs someone with a stronger personality. For him to let the Croat go is totally not in his own, persona that he's created. That's something totally different. But they still look to him for leadership, and
Yeah.
they still look for him to look to him for figuring out, what's next, because everyone needs a leader, and that's why the Dama was able to rise into control, and all these people that are there. If it wasn't for them, those two, we'll just have to be with Bruegel, another con man.
Mm-hmm. And I also think that Negan doesn't hate the Croat, and this could be a sign of him saying, maybe you better get away from me at this point. You know what I mean? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're better off without me, because Negan didn't really have to kick him out. You know what I mean? They're like, all right, squash this, boom, whatever. Yeah.
You're saying that he realized that he's the reason why the Croat's the way the Croat is, and he's like, go ahead and
yes. And I'll tell you why I actually believe that too as well, right? Because we do have a conversation that comes up a little bit later, but we see Jenny and she's cleaning her wound, and Maggie comes in, and Maggie's trying to have a conversation with her, telling her, the reason why, we had a rocky start is because I see myself when I look at you. And she pretty much explains to her why she doesn't want to kill Negan. And it's basically that, even if I do kill him, what does that change? Does it make it any better? You know what I mean? So I've lost myself, and I've done so many things trying to kill Negan before. Maybe I need to do things differently. And she's pretty much letting her know that there's another way to do it. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Said hello. How are you guys doing today? We're doing good. Leave a quickie if you ain't got the blicky. Facts. I like your name, brother. I like that name. That's cool. Go ahead, Brian. What are you thinking?
I think that she explains a lot more. And now if you look at Jenny in that aspect of through Maggie's the way Maggie used to be, maybe you understand her weakness or non-weakness, and being trying to kill that weakness part. And I think that's the whole thing with Negan. Why she wants to kill Negan. She wants to kill that weakness. That's what Maggie did throughout a lot of stuff. And why Maggie also wanted to kill Negan. Kill that weakness of her, because I feel like he killed the person I love. I'm weak if I can't kill that person. That's exactly what Jenny's going through. So I feel like this, it's not just for Maggie announcing it to Jenny. It was more for us as the viewer. And us now knowing exactly what they're saying,
Absolutely,
why they're so similar, why we should accept Jenny for who she is.
100%. And that's what I love too, because it also shows, like you said, that they are very similar. You know what I mean? Maggie and Negan's very similar. So at the same time, she kind of sees the regret that Negan is having for what he did at this point, because Negan does regret killing Glenn. So she's like, is that what I'm going to be like? Am I going to, regret killing this guy because it didn't change anything in my life? Glenn is still gone, right? And I'm going to now lost a piece of me because I took this man's life, So it's definitely interesting to go. Said, do you think Maggie will kill Negan at the end of this spinoff? No, I don't think so.
I don't know if Negan or Maggie. I think Maggie lives no matter what. But I do think if Negan does die, it's going to be like something small that we never see coming. That kills him. Not a person. There's no person that's going to kill him.
Right. Because in the Walking Dead comic, right, the way Rick dies, you could still do something like that with Negan. You know what I mean? You could, because they change people's places a lot. So maybe they could use that way. Like Negan went from this bad guy to this good guy, and then he gets just killed by something very superficial. You know what I'm saying? I definitely believe that. So it could be interesting. Let me just take this. Hold on. This is for you, brother.
Oh, gotcha.
In a private chat there. Yeah. So it's very interesting to see that dynamic, Jenny really doesn't say anything. She's just there quiet, and Maggie leaves. And now we have Negan, and for whatever reason, Negan seems to be always going back to this cell that he was locked in for so long. I guess he feels comfortable in there. but he's in there and you could really see like the pain on his face. You know what I mean? He's looking at Cecile. He's not happy. He has his head down. And I think a lot of that has to do with what just happened with the Crow ad and maybe that old Negan coming out for a few, you know? What's this crown mean besides my name? So the crown in the chat now is for people who um chat in the chat a lot. So if you make the most chat, you'll get the crown as number 1, and then there's someone else will get number 2 and 3. It's pretty cool. I guess it keeps the people in the chat occupied. Hey, I'm not number 1 anymore, stuff like that. So yeah, it's just something that they did, YouTube done. So now Negan hears a sound and he decides to go check it out. And I remember when we were watching it, when we did the watch party, we were kind of laughing because we're like, wait, you hear this sound, you don't know what it is, you just kicked Croat out and you're going to check it out without Lucille? Like, maybe you should have took your weapon with you, you know? But Negan ends up going and he opens it up and he sees somebody in there, and then he opens it up and it's the and it's the historian guy. So he was locked up in there since they went to go meet the Bruegel, right? And he told the story of the Dharma and how of her history and how it ended up. So he's pretty much saying, yeah, I kind of think she punished me for embarrassing her that night. So he's been in there for a while. So him and Negan are starting to have a conversation, and he's pretty much asking Negan not to put him back in the hole. But Negan's like, no, you're free to go, right? And again, this is kind of, so when I talk about Negan being the leader of this group now, I kind of feel like Negan might want to do things better, right? Because he has a conversation, and I'm going to play it. There's a part of this conversation where he has it, and I'll play it real quick.
I mean, down.
That is why you're feeling like you're
Much better.
You know, back in the day, I
Right
thought
here.
I had it all figured out. I built this system to protect my people. Another group would come at us, and I would line them up, do a little song and dance, and I would execute one of them. You know, just to make an example. You know, if I didn't get my people killed, then I sure as hell left them twisted up, broken. See, maybe the thing they needed saving from was me.
I actually love that conversation that he had there. Let me get to your comments. He said, what's the, oh, okay, I said that already. He said, Glenn's death is definitely the saddest death in the Walking Dead universe. And me personally, I think Negan should die at the end of the spinoff. So I agree with you. That Negan episode where he kills Glenn is my favorite episode of every episode of Walking Dead. Is my favorite episode. I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was done well. You know, they stayed true to the comic, and I get what you're saying, that Negan should die at the end of the series for that and all of the atrocity he has done through the Walking Dead. But I think what they're trying to show, or what they're going to do, is a redemption arc, right? I think Negan has been on the path for a redemption arc for a long time, especially since Rick like left the Walking Dead, right? They tried to pin it on Daryl, and I don't think Daryl was a good enough lead, right? So then they started to bring Negan and have him do a lot more, and I think that's where the redemption arc started. So I think at the end of this season, or end of this show, because I think they're doing 4 seasons, but if at the end of this show Negan doesn't die, he is going to have a 100% full redemption arc, like to the point where it's like he made up for all of his past mistakes, killing Glenn, you know, what he did to Sanctuary and Hilltop and all of those places. So if they do something like that, I would be okay with it, because Negan is the show. You know what I mean? This show is Negan. I love Maggie. Maggie's a great character, but I think what's driving the show, at least for me, is Negan. You know what I mean? I've always been a fan of his character, and I love the fact that he's getting a redemption arc. So, do I want to see him die at the end of the series? No. But if they do it, I can completely understand that, your actions have consequences to them, right? And I think Negan may feel the wrath of those actions at the end of this series. But I doubt it. I doubt it because my real thing about this show is I think that they're going to take all of these spin-offs, right? And they end up going to do one big type of movie or show with everybody reuniting. That's Daryl, that's Morgan, Negan, Maggie, Ezekiel, all of them coming back together for one last hurrah, which would be very good if they do that. You know what I mean? So I definitely think that that's an opportunity. What up, B? What's going on? How you doing, brother? Thank you for popping in. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. So Brian had to take care of something real quick. So when he comes back, I'll get his opinions on this thing, because I know when we watched it, we both thought it was absolutely amazing, and I think that's one of the things that was really good about this episode, is that these dialogues and these conversations really held some weight to them. So I thought that was great. So now we have Jenny, she's sleeping, Pearlie's sleeping, Maggie's sleeping, and of course, I'm gonna say it. I always say it. Fuck them kids. Herschel gets up and he sneaks out, right? And we all know, it's the old trope. He sneaks out, thinks everybody's sleeping, but Maggie is not sleeping, and she opens up her eyes and sees him going. So now we've asked ourselves, we're like, hey, where the hell is he going? What is he doing? You know what I mean? Like, fuck these kids, man. What are you doing? So he goes and he ends up seeing one of these zombies. He cuts the throat. He takes the blood. And as he's taking the blood, he is going to put it into their water to turn everybody into zombies. Now, to be honest with you, that's a good fucking plan. You know what I mean? That is a good plan. That's how you get out of that situation that you are in, and you pretty much end the Bruegel going after Negan, right? And I think he tells Maggie that when they have the conversation. So of course, as he's about to do it, Maggie pops in. She says, "What are you doing?" And I'll just play this real quick.
What were you about? Herschel. Are you going to her? Is that what this is?
He's going to her, but
poison those people? Kill them because they're New Babylon now? Is that what she told you to do?
What?
When we were here before, I saw her.
So Maggie is pretty much questioning what he is about to do and what his plan is to do, and he don't know that the Dharma's dead. But I always thought, and I'll get Brian's opinion when he comes back, but I always thought that this is what the Dharma told him to do. But what he really says is,
You get what you want too, right? I stop them, Negan leaves.
You get what you want to. I stop them, Negan lives. And that's because earlier he heard Pearlie asking him, why do you want to save Negan? So he's figuring, well, if I kill all of these people, they're not going to go after Negan and you'll get what you want to. I don't understand his thinking, you know what I mean? Because at first I thought, especially with the last episode, I thought that he was on the right track. Me and Brian both talked about it. He was telling the truth. And Leave, he said, is Negan your favorite villain in the entire Walking Dead universe? Yes, he is. Yes, Negan is my favorite villain in the Walking Dead universe, 100%. There were a lot of good villains in it. Don't get me wrong. The governor was fire. You know what I mean? But I think when Negan came in, and so one of the issues that a lot of people had with the Negan season is that it just dragged on way too long. And I can understand that, right? But if you really go back and watch those seasons, you get a lot of episodes where Negan's not even involved. You know what I mean? So I think that's why it went so long. But at the same time, I think whenever Negan was on screen, he was captivating. You know what I mean? I liked the way he was. When you give me a good bad guy, you got me. You know what I mean? You give me a good bad guy, you got me. And I've said this before for all the new people that Roman, I love movies where the bad guy wins. You know what I mean? Because everything we see is good guys prevail. So when you get those rare occasions where the bad guy wins, you know, I love those kind of movies. So yeah, at the end of the day, Negan is my favorite Walking Dead villain. Yes, yes.
It's about nothing.
You think I don't see it?
You good?
Yeah, man, it's driving me nuts. Like, they're calling.
It's quite all right, brother. We get life. Life
It was
comes in.
police calling me too. That's for help. They're like, "Oh, you something happened in one of your restaurants. I need you to. Can you show me your cameras?" I'm like, "I'm not at home."
He said the governor's my favorite. I think Negan and the governor is the two biggest villains ever. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. 100%. He asked me if Negan was my favorite villain of the Walking Dead series. I said yeah, but I did say I love the governor too. The governor was really good too, but I think Negan, and I think the reason why Negan is because we had a longer time with Negan. Like the Negan storyline, I think went over almost 2.5 seasons. You know what I mean? So we had plenty of time with Negan.
He was a villain.
Yeah,
He's
100%.
turning into anti-hero.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I think the governor is a villain 100%. So like
Yeah.
the better character, I believe, is Negan. The governor is probably a better villain because Negan is not just a villain. There's more to him.
Yeah, I agree. So I was talking about this scene where he finds the historian and he's having that conversation and he's telling him about, you know, I built a system and, you know, maybe it was the people that were needed to be protected from me. And that's where I come back to what I said earlier about Negan, right? And then I come back to this where it's like, oh, you know, he feels like he's the reason. That's why he let Croat go, because he's the reason why, you know, people need saving. They need saving from him, not from other people around him. So that's where I got that from. What do you think, Brian?
It could be also the fact that he maybe Croat brings him back to his old life, who he used to be. So being around any of the old people that when he was this evil person, being around them means that he's going to turn back into that person again. And instead 100%. Of just doing what he would do usually is kill him and get rid of him, he said, leave. I'm allowing you to. Especially because they just had that conversation, that previous conversation that they had about what would you do? I want to leave. You want to go back to Croatia? And he says, go leave. Go back to Croatia.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. And then I talked about, said, sorry if I'm talking about the regular Walking Dead. I haven't watched this spinoff yet. No, it's fine. You can talk about whatever you want to, brother. That's what we do over here, man. Don't worry if you have any questions. Absolutely.
I'm glad you're here.
But yeah, 100%. And if you haven't watched the spinoff yet, I think you should. If you like Walking Dead, I think it's the best spinoff that they had. Like they had the Daryl Dixon. We had the Those That Lived, which is really good. And then we have this, you know, and we don't talk about the Beyond one, but I think this is the best one out of them all so far. So.
This and Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
the two best.
100%. When I was talking about spinoffs, I meant more of the ones that are now, because I know Fear the Walking Dead obviously is a spinoff of The Walking Dead, but you know that was like earlier, like so
a long time ago.
Yeah. Like they've done their thing, they did their following, you know what I mean? So I think they went in a direction. Even though they kind of circled back to The Walking Dead, I think they kind of made it their own thing to where it's like, yes, it's a spinoff, but I wouldn't really call it a spinoff because they
almost did a better job than because with The Walking Dead, it was too long. What Fear the Walking Dead is, it gave a more concise story and it was a better overall story.
Yeah, I agree.
But these first two seasons is probably some of the best stuff I've seen for Walking Dead since like the first 2 seasons.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree 100%. You know what I mean? And I think it's well written. you know, it's well acted, of course. And this episode was directed by Maggie. She did a
Yeah.
banging job with it. She did a really good job with the directing. So I hope to see her doing more of that. But we have Herschel. Herschel is, and I told them what Herschel was doing, taking the blood, and he was about to put it in the water. What do you think about this? Because I said it earlier, fuck them kids, you know?
You know, and it's funny because he didn't have a long time with the Dama. So like the fact that he's still going through all this stuff, though he's had much more time with Maggie now, and he still can't get a connection with her. And all the Damos is pretend to care about what he's caring about, just shows that he's searching for something and he's holding all this other stuff against Maggie. And he needs to grow the fuck up.
Facts.
At some point in time, like, dude, grow up.
Facts.
This is your life. And you might be good in it if you actually just, get your head out your ass.
Facts, 100%. Says, so whenever I first the Fear the Walking Dead, that theme song scared the shit out of me. Yeah, I know the feeling, bro. Trust me. Trust me, I know. And I love the theme song too. I think the theme song for Fear the Walking Dead is fire, 100%. So Maggie chases him around, and she kind of tries to ask him, like, why are you doing this? Is it because of the Dharma? Did she tell you to do this? And we find out, no, it was because he figured that he could kill everybody and Negan would live. That's what you want, right? So what did you think about this scene too?
I think he just got warped way of thinking. He should, maybe you shouldn't think.
Facts.
Maybe you should just stay in a child's place and just deal with it. And then you get what I stopped him. Negan lives. Everything went. But he doesn't want to just go home. He doesn't believe. He thinks that going home is, this fantasy that they were living in this fake place, and they really never got anything true together. So, like, I don't even understand why he would do that. I think that's the answer.
But then Maggie tries to grab him, and he put, bro, I was like, are you out of your mind? Oh no, I'm busting your ass right here. You put your hands on me like that? Are you crazy?
You know what this is? This is a boy who grew up without a father. Because
facts.
My dad is 7 years old. And if I ever put my hands, I can't even imagine me putting my hands on my mother. But if I ever did that, he would beat the bricks off me. And I would just have to take it, right?
100.
That's what it is. Like, there's no respect. You don't ever do that to your mother. How dare you think that it's okay?
100%. Said, I like the idea of this spinoff because Maggie hates him for killing Glenn, but he's trying to make up for that. He's trying to. Absolutely. And that's what I loved about it too, right? I thought it was a very interesting, very, very interesting two people to put together in a series. I was like, okay. And I could see where they're going with this because there's certain parts where Negan is pretty much like, I'm sacrificing everything to help you. You know what I mean? From season 1 till now, everything he's done is pretty much to help Maggie, So he's been trying to make up
everyone that he's hurt. So he killed Glenn. So now that means Herschel and Maggie, right?
Yes.
He killed Jenny's father. So now Jenny means the world. He's trying to undo these tragedies and travesties that he really created. I think a lot of the other stuff he realizes is bad, but they don't affect him as much. These three people affect him to the core.
Agreed. And for him, the only way it is to make amends is by helping them. But Herschel opens up the door and we get the zombie bear.
What is that?
Don't care. Close the fucking door. No. Can't forget about Abraham. Yeah. Abraham. But Abraham was the psych out, right? Because I remember, so the one thing I know, a lot of people, and I heard this recently, that didn't like that it ended the way it ended, right? With we not knowing who Negan was going to kill. And then we had to wait a whole season to get to find out who it was. And they did the psych out to make you think it was Abraham, But then when the season came back, it was Abraham, and then it was Glenn, which I really enjoyed. And I liked the fact that they gave you a full freaking year to debate on who, because my ex at the time, we used to watch Walking Dead religiously, and we debated for a whole year on who they were going to kill. And I told her, I said, listen, if they stopped it the way they stopped it, they're going to kill Glenn. They're going to do what they did in the comic. It's going, no, they're not going to kill Glenn. They're not going to kill. I said, they're going to kill Glenn. Trust me.
It had to, because it happened in the comic book, and it's one of the most talked about deaths in all the Walking Dead. So like, you feel like that had to happen. As much as I remember saying, I don't want this to happen. If they do this, I ain't watching another episode. And I watched all
because it's the same thing like Last of Us, right? We all knew it was coming, and we didn't want it to come, but we knew it was part of the game, and they knew that he was gonna get it. So I enjoyed that they did that. But now this not only is a zombie bear, but this bear broke through that door and started chasing them around.
Isn't that weird though? Because all the walkers and all stuff in Walking Dead, they're slow. This bear still has all the faculties about him.
Yeah. Now it's funny that you say that, because there may be something with the genetics of a bear. I don't know. It's like you said, all the zombies walk around slow. Like you could fucking. That's why sometimes I'm like, I get the hordes, right? But if if they're behind you, they'll never catch me. You know what I mean?
You seem like Jason, or Michael Myers. Like, you gonna walk all the time, Jason. You ain't never gonna catch me, brother.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. They never catch me. You know what I mean? I'd be gone. A block away, then I'm gone. I'm hiding someplace, and the word's gone by. So yeah, I agree with you. But what did you think about the zombie bear though?
I think it's probably one of the scariest things you could have. In a world where zombies are normalized. You just know they're part of life. They're there no matter what. It's okay. Who cares? Having a zombie bear puts another level of fear into everybody. Not only is he undead, you probably can't kill him unless you sever the brainstem or something like that. He's going to keep on coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can throw anything at him, you can shoot him all you want. He's just going to keep on coming. So I mean, there's a new fear right there.
Oh, 100%. And another thing that I loved about this episode, and I think it kind of brushed by, when they find the bear, nobody fucking realized that it's a fucking zombie bear. You know what I mean? They're just like, oh yeah, well, she left us this bear gift or whatever. But no, I mean, if you look at it, you could probably tell.
You have to watch the zombies underneath his feet, that he squished.
Facts, 100%. So the bear is chasing Maggie down, and of course, Herschel from a top above shoots his knife.
His little knives throwing.
Little knife. It catches the bear in the head, right? And then Maggie, brings it to the fence, and hold on, let me bring it back. Did I pass it already? Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah,
there it is. Right there. And catches the bear on the fence, and that's how they kill the zombie bear. So he said, and bears can also climb trees too. Oh, 100%. That's a new that's a new level of terror. So I kind of hope we see a little bit more of that. We may not see it in this season or even in this show again, but if they do the whole, bringing back everybody together, I wouldn't mind seeing more zombie animals. You know what I mean? Because one thing about the zombie virus, they can always say that it's mutating, right? That's why it's able to get into animals now. Like this virus is starting to mutate now, right? It can mutate to where the zombies are a little bit smarter than their their
Which would be
counterparts.
scary. That'll be the scary
Yeah.
part.
Exactly. So I like the fact that they can do stuff like this and it still makes sense, right? You say, hey, you know, what the hell? Oh, looks like it's mutated. Now, ain't nobody a scientist, so they ain't gonna know. So they're just gonna have to put 2 and 2 together, which is probably what I would do. I'd be like, yo, this virus must be fucking mutating or something, because we ain't never had no fucking zombie bears or animals before. Now there's zombies, animals, guys. You know what I mean? So
I would
even
have
though
made
they
it
made
like Jackson. I would have had no matter what gates up, and fences up, and no matter I don't care what's coming out there, y'all ain't gonna come get me. Nope.
Facts, 100%. You know what I mean? So we now get to Negan, and Negan is Negan is sitting outside, coming outside, and as he comes outside, Maggie is right there. Now, when I seen this, I was a little worried because Negan is coming out like a leader of a new group. You know what I mean?
And I'm like, what they talk about. That she's looking at him like, dude, you said you're in trouble. I'm doing. I just got in trouble with my son for wanting to come help your dumb butt, and now you're the leader.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. You know what I mean? But they do have a conversation that was really good. I'm gonna play some of it.
One of the best.
Yeah.
I wish he was, for your sake. You sure that he was running off to find the Doma?
Yes.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, there was no one for Herschel to find. Dom's dead. Burned to death. It's not his fault. You know, Dama has this way of reading people, you know, getting into their heads and making them do things they wouldn't normally do.
Which kind of gives an explanation as to why Glenn did the stuff that he did. You know what I mean? So I thought that was very interesting because Negan, and he's not putting the blame on Herschel. You know what I mean? And again, this is the growth of Negan now. Like he's like, no, don't blame Herschel. It's not his fault. I fucking love it.
I feel like he has a better knowledge of kids. He really understands children overall. Being a teacher, he understands how they react and understand. I'm not going to just fault them for who they are. I'm going to realize what they could be and why they're doing this and how easily manipulated they are.
100% agreed.
And it's not your fault either, Maggie.
She's confused.
I wasn't lying about my situation. I figured it out is all.
You always do.
So do you, Maggie. So do you.
Well, I won't be sticking around for long.
Just until you get your kid back.
Don't be mad at me.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, why are you so mad though? Right? You trying to do the same thing, but you expect him to stick around for you to get your kid back too as well?
I didn't lose my kid. You lost yours 5 times. I brought it back. Like if your next door neighbor that you hate lost his dog 3 times, here's your dog. Wait, here's your dog. And you see the dog walking out the back door, you can be like, man,
fuck this kid and his dog. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's on you. I did it fucking 3 times. You want me to every time your dog come out there, I gotta come out and save your fucking dog? Screw that shit. You ain't paying me. You know, so that's
somehow Negan feels responsible. I mean, I guess killing the father does that. So
yeah, 100%.
King Francis Theater. It's the only place I can think of that Herschel might go if he thought she was still alive.
And that's where the Croat's probably gonna be.
Yep, you saw that.
Now this is the part where Negan's talking about himself.
Brugel's coming for you. Planning some kind of ambush. Means to kill every last one of you. Just give you a couple days head start.
How is Jenny? Is she okay? I mean, is she's settling in, you know?
You see, and you could feel how he cares about her. You know what I mean? The way he's asking, fuck, it's so good.
He regrets sending her away.
Yes. Yeah.
He regrets that situation, even though I think he made the right decision. He was doing it to give her a better life, but he regrets that. It hurt him because he actually enjoyed being with her. He enjoyed kind of trying. He really raised her a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And
the way he made her go, he regretting that too as well. You know what I mean? Like he out of anger, I killed your father, and that's why she ended up leaving, because she didn't want to leave with him. And at the end of the day, he didn't want her to leave either, but he knows if she stays with him, her life is in danger.
Exactly.
You know? So
he's pushing her away for her, but you know, she
absolutely
don't see it.
Absolutely.
You know, Andy and Joshua are going to be here soon. I've done a real good job of messing up their lives. I seem to have made a habit of it. What do? Do I tell them to stay? Do I go away with them? I mean, how can I promise her that it won't happen again?
And I'll pause right there because
I thought that she should answer this.
Me
she should have said
too.
something to the effect of that. Then don't, or then love them. Real simple. You don't have to give him all the answers. You don't have to have this heart to heart anything, but something to point him to, like, you know, then give all this other stuff up. Don't
Facts.
do it
Facts. After all the shit he did for you, you couldn't say something.
I mean, he still did kill her husband. So
no, I get it, but right now he's telling her where to find Glenn. Right? He told her about what Glenn
where
was
to find
doing. Herschel. Yeah. Where to find Herschel? You know what I mean? Like, stop them from destroying the boat because he's seen Herschel on there. Now, obviously she doesn't know that part, but still, like, everything he's done is to help them in Herschel. So to say something,
or the stuff that he did in with the zombies that saved Herschel's life before he shot at him.
Exactly. 100%. You know what I mean? So anything could have been said.
I'm sorry. You don't have to answer that. It's not fair of me to ask.
Exactly. She killed her.
Do you think the old times, the good times, do you think they really happened that way?
That's the most important thing right there.
Or is it just easier for us to remember them wrong?
Facts.
And that's been the theme of Dead City this entire season. We're all pining for the old times, the good times.
Yes.
But are we lying to ourselves saying that that's what they were?
Facts. 100%. And Herschel sees it already. So that's kind of Herschel's motivation for doing what he's doing. You know what I mean? Pearlie even questioned her about, like, listen, you know, did we really remember the old world being so great? Like, is that what we want? That's what we want. But do we know if that's what the kids want? Right? Because when she has that conversation with Herschel sees it a totally different way than she did. Right?
I've never had this world. I have no idea what you're trying to go for.
Exactly.
Just live in this world the right way. That's all we want.
Exactly. And then what I remember from that world is you always being miserable and crying. So if you were so miserable and crying, why do you want to go back to that world? You know what I mean? So you're right. This is a theme that has been going along through this season for a long time. And I think if they do a spin-off, like, you know, do the movie, I think that's going to be a big theme too. It's like we've all clamored to get this old world back when maybe we should be worrying about building a new world. You know what I mean? So
what they're going to eventually say is maybe the reason all this happens is because we weren't worth having this Earth, running the planet, because we are the problem.
Facts, 100%.
Maybe we're the virus, not the zombies.
Exactly. Just like Negan said, I was the one that my crew was scared of. You know what I mean? So I could agree with that. Not a thing. She just walks a fucking way. Oh, Maggie pissed me off in that scene. Could have gave him something.
No, but she has an excuse. You still killed my husband. I didn't do nothing to you.
Yeah. But I also think that, again, this is the way, to show Maggie's going to open up to Negan a bit more in further seasons, or maybe not this season, but in other seasons.
She becomes him.
Oh yeah, 100%. I believe. Yeah, I believe she's good. That scene where she's holding the seal and she has on the leather jacket. Yeah, she's channeling her inner Negan. I agree. I agree, and that's why I said
Herschel, and she's going to go ham
off. Yeah, and then she's going to kind of understand Negan's point of view, because again, we've said it many times. Yeah, Negan was a villain. Negan was a dick, but you guys started the war with Negan. Negan didn't start that shit with you, right? Maggie, Rick, and all of them, they started that war with Negan. So it's going to be interesting.
Glenn should have lived, though. Maggie.
What's that?
Glenn should have lived.
So it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic play out 100%. So now we have Pearlie, and he sees Jenny. Let's go back a bit.
But I can't find them. Oh, I got a feeling they left that bear as a parting gift. Okay. I guess they're gone then.
I kid you not. This is when I felt for Jenny. This is when I finally kind of understood the shit that she was going through. She's been abandoned her whole life, and now she feels like she's being abandoned again, right? Negan.
I felt her too, except for one thing. She tried to shoot. She pulled a gun on the people that just left her. You did.
She did pull a gun out on them. Yeah, she did do some.
Maggie almost got hung because
yeah. But I'll also say that maybe her having that conversation with Navarra, and Navarra telling her those certain things, kind of was like, oh, maybe I could get close to this girl, if I do it right. She's saying, they'll treat me right, and martial laws and everything. So it's like maybe she was trying to get a connection because she hasn't had any for such a long time. You know what I mean? Yeah, and then she dies, exactly. Because you could see the pain on her face, right? It's not about killing Negan. It's like, yo, you guys are leaving me all by myself again. So I really enjoyed that.
It's like, how dare you abandon me again?
Right. And I believe in the next episode, when they have that conversation, that's what it's going to be about. She's mad that Negan leaves her. And that's why I said I could see this series ending with her, Joshua, and Annie and Negan, all of them living together, because Negan's never going to leave her. You know what I mean? He's never going to leave her.
Again. He'll say, I'll never leave you again. I'll never. Yeah. That I see that coming out of his mouth. I will never leave you.
Me too. I could see that 100%. Pearlie kind of feels for her too, because he gives her kind of a look. I kind of thought he was going to be like, you know what? Come with me.
He should have. I mean, if you're a real dad, any real dad will look at her and say, no, I won't bring her under my wing. Absolutely. This is the end of the world. I'm not going to let you just be out here, on your own. You come with me, you people, my family, and we'll figure it out together.
Absolutely. We go back to Negan, and Negan's looking out the window, and he sees his girl and his child. And he tells them,
tell them to turn around and go back. Take them back to Tennessee, where they came from.
That's the first.
Do you
bitch-ass move he
understand
made.
what I am fucking saying to you?
Mm-hmm. Now,
That's bitch assness, man. Come on.
I didn't like that at all. I can understand where it's coming from because it's like, are you better off with me or without me? But that's your kid and that's your girl. You take that chance. You know what I mean?
Or if you're going to say that, you explain it to her. You take your ass down there and tell them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Man,
100%. You go down there and do that. You don't send anybody else to do your dirty work. I agree. So I didn't like this decision that Negan made, but I also believe, again, with Jenny coming back, and we're going to get to that in a minute, but with Jenny coming back and them, probably spending the last 2 episodes together, Negan's going to get to a point where he realizes that, you know what? Maybe I'm not this bad guy that I really think I am, and I can do better, and I can be better, and then he's going to be able to feel like he's going to be a better father, and which would kind of, you know what I mean? Like he lets them go, and then Negan dies at the end of the series before even getting back to them. That kind of be messed up.
Or they see him on the boat and something happens, like a pirate or something stupid happens, and he dies right before he gets to the happiness.
Yeah. That I could see something like that happening, which would be messed up. That would hurt. You know what I mean?
100%.
But now we have Percy, bitch ass motherfucker, Brugal, and Percy. Pearly, my bad, having a conversation. And this is when we get the title of the episode where he's like teaching him about bridge. He's like, I know bridge, and bridge partners are hard to find these days. And he basically asking Pearly, what are you gonna do? Are you going to be with us or you're not? And this is what he says.
Warren Buffett taught me. So, your friend and her son, they really trashed the joint on the way out, huh? Did she get to you before she left? What'd she say? No, let me guess. She said that I am the kind of guy who manipulates, who cheats, whatever it takes to win. Am I right?
You're right.
So, it's a no then?
It is.
So at least he did the right thing and said no. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give him his credit for that. You know what I mean? At least he said no. But the Brugal, like, well, you can say no, but that's not what it's gonna be about. It's either we're doing this regardless of whether you like it or not. You can be a part of it, or you can be in the background. You know what I mean? So
Make it to the church, Negan, which shouldn't be possible because you shot him dead. Martial arms. I'm surprised at how far she'd gotten. Because she was fucking crawling. She was all chewed up. She'd been bitten, I don't know, 5, 10, 20 times.
And he shows Navarre, who he has there pinned up as a zombie, kills her, of course. And then he tells him,
I'm trying to tattle. I'm trying to help. No Negan, no problem. Look, I'm gonna get that methane, with your help or without it. So you can go all in, or you can fold. But the thing is, you're playing the game either way. You always are.
now, I hope Pearly does some good shit because it seems to me like everybody's just running all over this fucking guy right now. And that's not the character I thought he was in season 1. You know what I mean? Now he's just being this character that everybody's running all over. So it's kind of
So you think he's gonna have a redemption arc?
I think he's gonna do something that's gonna be like, okay, at least he did something smart. You know what I mean? I don't think he's gonna go full on Brugal helping him. I think he's gonna do something smart. Does that get him something smart?
Does that get him killed? Because someone else has to die. A main character has to die, and Pearl just seems like time for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see him dying 100%. Not maybe not this season, but yeah, I can see him dying.
I think the end of this season. We got
Really?
2 episodes left. I can see Pearlie the end of the season trying to save someone, even possibly Negan.
Could be. Definitely interesting. I do think there's going to be something going because, and I think we talked about this when we first did the first episode, is that a lot of those scoopers out there got to see the first 6 episodes. So where we are now, everybody's seen it, but they kept those last 2 episodes away from everybody for a reason. So I think there's going to be something big in there that they didn't want spoiled at all. So it's going to be definitely interesting.
I mean, it has to be Pearlie or Negan, right? I mean,
yeah.
Can you see it be anything else?
No. Well, Herschel maybe. Jenny,
maybe.
You know, Herschel, maybe Jenny.
Would Jenny really shock you? Like, oh yeah, okay. Especially they've done it now, episode 6. There's 2 episodes left, and you already know she's sick. So I don't know how much that surprised me.
Yeah, they're gonna fix Jenny. I don't think it's gonna be her, but something definitely gonna happen. We have Negan, and he's outside of the church, and you know he's feeling it. He's let his family go, and
how he looks at her.
And even though she's sick, she don't want to shoot him. You could tell.
Look at he's happy to see her face.
Yeah, facts.
I miss you so much.
And she's about to cry because, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, but look at the way he's holding her. You know what I mean? Like, he loves her like his daughter. You know what I mean? He does. And I think if she would have killed him at that moment, at least it would have been by her hands. You know what I mean? And not some fucking Bruegel or some shit like that. You know what I mean? That would be something that would be like, I deserve this for what I did to you. You know what I mean? Like, this is everything coming back to haunt me. And even though I've tried to protect kids and stuff like that, I've taken fathers away from kids. So I can understand, you know, if my last moment is from a kid, which is interesting.
Or my kid, the one I love.
Or my kid. Yeah, exactly. 100%. I can see that. So he sees Jenny's cut, and we can see that it's infected. And
my son is.
That's how the episode ends.
That's interesting because you know what? Who's the only person that might be able to find something to help her?
Bruegel.
I think the Croat.
Oh, maybe the Croat too. Yeah.
And so what's going to happen is we saw the preview for the next episode. I think Maggie going to look for Herschel. She traps the Croat.
Croat.
So she traps him. She's ready to kill him. And I think that somehow, you know, she finds out that you can't do it, and Negan comes and says, I need him because Jenny's sick.
I can see that.
And then he has the only reason, he's the only way that we could keep her alive.
I can see that. I can see Negan going out looking for the Croat because I guess that's the only person he could actually trust at this point, other than Maggie, of course, right? But, you know, at least to help him help Jenny, you know. But after kicking the Croat out, you know, would the Croat really want to do that for Negan?
And I don't think Negan could do anything. He's just going to try to keep her comfortable, because once again, this is mirroring, right? This entire season has been mirroring between Negan and Maggie, right? So now they're both. So Maggie's looking for her son, trying to keep him alive, and now Negan is looking at Jenny, trying to keep her alive. So they're both looking at their quote unquote children, trying to save their children by any means necessary.
Absolutely, I can agree with that. What did you think about this episode, Brian? I know we talked about it. I know what you gave it, but give it a score again. I want to hear it.
I mean, honestly, like I don't give A's, A pluses. I don't. And this really felt great. And this is A plus, man. This is it. I love what they're doing. I even love because now we're gonna have the penultimate episode for episode 7, right? With both Jenny and Herschel in trouble and danger.
Yeah.
I think this, if they hit the way they hit this one, if they hit 7 and they have a great finale, I'm gonna say this is one of my favorite overall seasons of anything.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. And we already know I given every episode an A plus, and this one gets another A plus for me. A plus 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 plus. How many pluses you want to add to it? I'm gonna give it to it. The show has not disappointed me yet. I think every episode has been really good. Is every episode perfect? No, I don't think anything's ever perfect, other than Across the Spider-Verse. I don't think anything. I don't think anything is perfect. You know what I mean? But it's a damn good job. It's very close to it. I really enjoy what they're doing, and I have faith that they're not gonna drop the ball in these last 2 episodes. I really have faith that they're gonna give us something that's gonna be like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Can't wait till season 3. So that's my opinion. But as we do, even though we watched it on the watch party, we're gonna watch the trailer for the episode one last time, and then we'll get out of here.
Where the hell did you get this?
Bellevue.
It's the hospital. That's right. It's
Tell me where my son is. I'll cut off tiny pieces of you.
Don't worry. I know the way. Keep still. Get the Barassi ready. We got work to do.
Hey! You need to move! Now! There's no time!
So they once again are going to be both doing the same thing, both battling an entire building worth of zombies, trying to save their kid.
Absolutely. And not only the fact that Negan is going to have to do it with maybe Jenny being 6, because it looks like that's a medicine that he has, right? So someone must have gave him like a.
They say you need a lot more of this.
Yeah, an ointment or something to help Jenny. But he's going to have to deal with the Bruegel because they're coming for him. And pretty much Maggie's going to have to deal with the Croat and trying to find Herschel. So it's going to be a very interesting dynamic in the second to last episode and see how it all comes together. I'm excited for it. You know what I mean? We will be doing the watch party for it 100%, as we always do, Sunday night, 8, maybe 9, depending on when this guy can make it home in time.
I mean, it's Father's Day, so I'll be drunk and enjoy.
Oh, shit, it's Father's Day.
Yeah. There's another guy on this show that's our father.
Yeah, but my son is 25 years old. I'm gonna get a Happy Father's Day phone call, and that's about it. You know what I mean? That's all I'm getting.
He's gonna be over there. He's gonna be over there right with you. You probably won't watch it.
Shit, I may not even get a phone call. I may just get a text. Happy Father's Day, old man. That's it. That's it. None more. Okay, well, you know what I mean? So we'll see. But yes, it is Father's Day. So, ooh.
No, we should probably still do it. I'll be good by the end of the night. If you be okay,
it's up to you. If you guys are not doing any like family
taking off
stuff,
I'm doing a half a day on Thursday, right? Friday, I'm not doing anything. Saturday, I'm not doing anything. By the time Sunday comes on, I'm probably like, hey, I'm gonna call you, texting you, like, hey, you got any of that streaming stuff?
All right. So it looks to me like we will be doing the watch party on. To be honest with you, I don't give a fuck if these guys are coming or not. I'm doing it. So I'll sit in this motherfucker by myself watch too. I've done it many times before, so it ain't nothing in my skin to do again. So there definitely will be a watch party, that's for sure. So guys, make sure to check that out. Brian, tell the people where they can find you one last time, sir.
Right here. Along with me on Monday, Thursday, and Saturdays, I'll be on the Sport of the Kids. We're enjoying running that stuff, but not this Saturday because it's going to be my 40th. Let's go.
Absolutely. And if I don't get to talk to you then, happy birthday, early birthday, whatever you want to call it, brother. I hope you enjoy it. Have a great time. You know what I mean? You only turn 40 once. So
I know. I'm going to enjoy it. And hopefully I remember it.
For real. For real. With that being said, guys, we are outie. Peace, love, and hair grease, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.